Hello everyone, how y'all doing? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about creative writing, an update on my creative writing efforts. If you follow this channel remotely, you know that I do a lot of things at the same time, which is a blessing and a curse. At this moment, I'm particularly feeling down, so it feels more like a curse. And let me try to explain why I'm feeling a bit down about it. So over 6 months, 9 months, something like that, I started to do a few more creative writing stories. This was in 2020 already. Um, and I submitted like 5 or 6 different things, had some tight deadlines, and I tried to meet. And I think I wrote out these 5 different stories, and feedback for those started to come back. And I had two of them were denied or refused, and which I guess it's fine. I mean, it's people don't have to publish everything. They have their own tastes. I don't know what other entries entered the competition, the selection. So fine. I think what annoys me a little bit is the lack of feedback. You don't have like we denied because of this and this doesn't really fit the theme, or this and this could be better. They just either you're in or you're out, and that doesn't really help you as a creative writer to improve yourself in the slightest. Um, I have some people who I sometimes ask to read my material, and they give me some feedback, and that helped shape a few of the works that I've been working on. Um, Not these two in particular. Well, one of them I think I sent to Christina, and she gave me some feedback, and I mostly agreed with what she was saying, and I was already planning to do those changes. But yeah, I don't remember what I was saying anymore. The point is, I have like 5 entries that was written, short stories that were submitted to different competitions. 2 of them came back being refused. One of them had reached the later stage of thing, but ended up not being selected for a compilation of works. And the other one was just let out, rejected without any sort of feedback. And it's a bit annoying that you like aim for a specific topic that they have like an opening for, and then you just end up, having a story in the cabinet. I guess my plan with the stories is was always have been like I just have one more story, and now I can do whatever I want with it if it gets rejected, so no harm done. Kind of the same approach that I take with music. Sometimes when I try to do a remix for an artist, which hasn't happened in a long time, mostly also because my remixes tend to be rejected, and then I can't use them with the samples that can show that it's from the original, because they might be copyrighted if it's not released on the same level. So it's anyways, I'm diverging. That's copyright nonsense from music industry. That's not about creative writing. So creative writing. So now I have 2 stories that feel I hadn't felt that strongly about them to begin with. So I was sort of knowing that they can be better for different reasons. Both of them. One of them started as a solar punk sort of story, envisioning a better world, specifically the role of a modern library and how that would improve certain small town village. And then I had to put a spin on it to make it more melodramatic on some way. And I'm not too happy with the outcome. It feels a bit too boring in the middle. I tried to make it some sort of a dream of a presentation of some sort. Kind of works, but kind of doesn't. I'm not completely happy with it, but don't really know what to do to improve it. So my doubt at this point is, should I try to revise it in Portuguese to make like a real final version of it and then translate it, or just translate it and see what people think? self-publish on enough records, because I can publish books on enough records now, so I can just publish my own stuff. Um, so yeah, I'm unsure if I should translate or try to do a revision first or send it to someone for revision. I know there are some services where they like read the stuff and give you some hints. I'm not sure how I feel about that. First, because it's just gonna tell me the commercial obvious thing, and I don't think I want to do something that is will just appeal to the commercial sense. I want to have something that drives the point of the story further. So I'm not completely convinced on spending money on that. Also, I can't really afford it because I'm unemployed right now, so I shouldn't really be investing in those kind of things. In my mind, at least. So, so yeah. The other story that I had was more tongue in cheek, and I can understand why it got rejected because it might have been too much tongue in cheek. It used to be a lot worse, and I toned it down a little bit. It's about it's not science fiction, but it's like science fiction in a Portuguese style, so with a lot of Portuguese references. And I was expecting that this one would be selected because it's such a niche little genre that I would assume that their compilation like 10, 12 works would still manage to fit this one in. So I was a bit surprised with that one. But yeah, I can understand. Well, I don't know why. That's the main thing that annoys me. I don't know why it was not selected. Maybe the other ones are just good, and now I have this problem that if I go and read the collection of works that were selected eventually when it comes out, I'm gonna read it being judgmental. Like, is this really better than mine? And it needs to be substantially better than mine and clearly, obviously better than mine for me not to be upset about reading it. So I probably have to skip the publication altogether, not to be upset, which is, it's on me. That's my way of dealing with things, and I probably should be not comparing and not caring about those things. But I know that deep down I still care a little bit, so I rather avoid those things than having to deal with them and ending up reading a book that I might not enjoy reading because of those details. So yeah, that one I also not sure if I should revise first or translate. I'm more leaning towards revising that one. Um, I'm not sure how deep it needs to be revised though. If it's to clean up the tongue in cheek completely and make it more of a horror sort of story, more realistic feeling maybe that might work a bit better, but it might have a lot of reworks into it to make that happen. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about these two stories and how I should go about them. If I should just translate them as they are, if I should revise them, because the problem I can translate them easily, but it will take like I don't know, 1-2 night works, maybe 3 nights of work. Um, but then if I'm not happy with the final result and I want to change the original story or revise the original story, I will also have to revise the translation. So you should always translate after you're done with the first draft, or use the translation to go into another direction, start translating, and then end up revising the translation and just focus on the translation, on the translated work instead of the original. So, so yeah, I don't know. I had some time to think about that, a couple of weeks, but I haven't really reached any conclusion, and this is why I've been pushing back, doing more creative writing stuff. There are 3 more works that I submitted that I haven't heard any results from, despite having been 6-9 months. I think one of them is even like 1 year old by now. Um, so yeah, I'm waiting to hear about those, and I hope they are selected in some way. Whenever you write something, you always wish they are selected. But I think I had something special in one of those. Writing the first one of those and thinking that I got something really interesting there was what motivated me to write the other ones from the other deadlines that were coming up. figured, ah, this is easy after all. I can do this. This wasn't that bad to pull off. Um, so yeah, now there was a bigger deadline for a heftier piece of work for a special prize in science fiction, and I sort of had an idea for it involving dreams and different dreams and having like a surreal, magical surrealism to it, or magical realism to it, where you don't really understand what's happening, but you connect the dots that all the different parts are connected in some way. And this is part of a special machine that allows you to play back other people's dreams and record your own dreams. I had that idea. I started writing a few sketches. I stole some ideas from some of my older works to have like different kind of dreams in there. But after the first draft, I didn't even finish the first draft. I just started putting stuff on layout, and I was tired, and I went to bed. And when I woke up, I'm like, maybe that's not such a good idea. Maybe that's just a lot of work. And I guess the outcomes of the other works that I submitted and got rejected kind of nibbled at that as well. That, like, I'm investing some significant amount of work for something that's just, I don't get any feedback on, besides it's published or it's not published. So yeah, I don't really feel like working on that. I have till the end of the month, so it's still 15 days, but I'm not feeling it. And if I'm not feeling it, I don't think I'm going to write it. I have so much other stuff that I could be doing, which again, we go back to the original point that I do a lot of stuff in a lot of different fields. So yeah, that's where I'm standing in creative writing right now. It would be a lot easier if you just had an idea and it showed up completely written exactly the way you wanted it, but it doesn't work like that. You need to have the idea, write it down, and then edit it and re-edit it and revise it and edit it one more time. It's the revision of all the works and re-editing of it that really annoys me. The first draft is usually good. I guess that's the same for every writer. I know there are some that just do like everything first draft and then send it to someone to clean it up a little bit. There are probably services for that as well if I go look on Fiverr, but I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that either. And sometimes a lot of the magic really comes together when you're actually revising it and reading it back and noticing, okay, these first three paragraphs actually don't really fit that well with the rest. I need to change this and that. So I think the more you read it, the more you get aligned with the actual idea that you have in mind, and try to channel it that way. And like, also, it's an exercise of empathy for a first reader. Like, you're rereading it like you're reading it for the first time, like clean slate. Read it like it's the first time. What feels like it's working, what doesn't feel like it's working, those kind of wordings. And it's a bit like acting in a way, which I don't think I'm particularly bad at. I think I'm rather decent at that part, putting myself in the thoughts of different characters and also the reader. Of course, I'm sure there are a lot better people than I am out there. I'm just saying that I'm not completely deprived of that kind of capacity, and which is what might save some of my creative writing, in my humble point of view. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just need to slip it off a few days, focus on some other things, just play some random video game, something to keep me occupied, or watch a movie or something like that. And maybe in a few days I'll feel inspired to pick up the other project. I think the main thing that's holding me back from this other project is that it's substantially bigger and it's a hit or miss kind of thing. It's only it's a prize, and you need to do over 40,000 words. So it's for actual, books, not short stories. and only one person will get the prize. So it's not like a collection of short stories where like 12 of them will be selected and you might be in them, which I have not been from the previous ones that I just got denied. So how the hell am I gonna get selected for a single one if I don't get selected for like in a group of 10 or 12? I think that's what's really pulling me down. So it needs to be like a real killer idea, and I need to be really feeling it to invest all the work to really write all that down. And right now, I only have like a sketch form of the idea. I don't have the way that it evolves in something that really resonates figured out. And I think that only comes if I invest more into it. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that's my woes in creative writing. If you can relate, if you can't relate, if you find this interesting in any shape or form, let me know what you think on the comments below. For me, it's just another day in the life. I have a lot of these kind of moments of up and down, and we need to ride the highs and bear the lows, and eventually the cycle will resume itself, and something good will come out of it. So you just have to persevere and try your best. Try not to cut too many corners, which I think I do that a lot in some projects. Like either I aim too low so that I know I can achieve it, or I try to aim too high and then it falls short of my realization. Like I had other projects, I'm talking about music more now. I had other projects where I tried to do, I have this specific vision and I'm just not good enough to do that. And then I start thinking, oh, maybe I can collaborate with other people, but then I feel like it's not a failure, but imposter. Like I'm getting other people to do stuff that I should be doing. So I'm more becoming like a producer instead of producer, not in a musical sense, but in a project management sense, director, to putting the pieces together and making the thing when it should be. Art should be about expressing your own view, so it should be my view and my undertaking. If it's something very specific that I can ask someone, and or that it might be a collaboration in some way where I'm like stuck or have this thing and I want to see someone else's perspective, then it makes sense to collaborate with that other person. But when it's something that I know exactly what I want, or I know somewhat what I want, and I can't execute it, I feel a bit bad when I have to ask someone else for help, or it doesn't live up to the quality that it should have, that I know from other stuff. For example, the other day I was having idea of doing some experimental hip hop stuff. Not just like, for me, when I say experimental hip hop, I think of clipping. That's one of the main references that I have in that field, like mixing experimental electronic music with something very raw and visceral, and having spoken word on it. So that sort of works, but I also wanted to explore traditional hip hop, trying to do some beats and do some rhymes and just enter the flow and try to say those things and play around a little bit with that, because it's a field that I imagined a few times, I wrote a few things, but I never really tried to be serious about that. So I wonder how good, how far, how well I could make it, and I think I could maybe do something interesting in that field. Uh, but then I realized the years of other people have of experience in that particular field, and how I would like be short of reaching the level of quality. Uh, and yeah, it's a matter of comparing yourself to others. And when you're making music for 20 years now, still like the production values, it kind of starts stabbing you a little bit in the back, or in the heart. Um, and the only way you can deal with that is either stick with your corner, stick with the things that you're good at, which is what I tend to do with drone and dark ambient and experimental music. Or you can try to reach out and try to do other stuff, which I have tried to do before in the past. I have tried spoken word stuff and field recording stuff, which is not which was not my field at the time. And I, dabbed in it. And I tried some stuff with it. Even industrial music, I tried to do some stuff, which was not completely my forte and still is not. Um, and the production value always didn't feel like it quite matched what I wanted to be. Um, but it was still interesting to explore, and I wish I would do that more. And I have an EP that's been in brewing in a brewing state for well over 6 months, maybe 9 months now. 6 months might be more accurate, and I haven't gotten around to do it. I've been busy with other stuff, and yeah, now I'm starting to have other musical ideas which diverge from that one. Same thing with the demo scene as well. I've been aiming or thinking, considering doing this demo focused about eyes and the different emotions that eyes give you. Try to do an experimental track with that. I try to do some poetry about that, some spoken word stuff. I did a recording and I didn't like the sound of my voice, and I just completely closed the project and I haven't touched it again. So it was like for revision. A couple of weeks before revision, I tried to have advanced it a little bit. Just did one session, didn't go well, and I just gave up on it and tried to do something else instead. And now it feels like I'm scared to open the project again, because I know it's not good quality, and I don't know how I could make it into better quality. I feel like I would need to reach out to other people, and it's something that in the past never really worked very well for me. Um, I'm more of a lone wolf kind of thing. I can ask other people for very specific things, but overall, I don't feel comfortable because I'm asking other people for favors and then they don't deliver. And then I have to keep nagging them, and I don't like that role. I didn't like that role when I was working, and I don't like that when I'm doing art stuff. And might be a little bit of a trauma from my earlier demo scene years as well, because I used to want to collaborate a lot more because I was very lonely and wanted to reach out and have other people to do stuff with, and I never managed to find people to really connect with who had the same vision. Not locally and continuously, at least. I ended up finding some people who saw the same vision, or they reached out to me, which was the Cosmoplovsy guys and the guys from CPU, Elf in particular from CPU. But these were like sporadic things that just came about. It wasn't me who were looking for them. It's really hard to find someone to see exactly the kind of vision, have the open mentality to try to follow whatever vision you have. They always try to have their own vision, which is normal. I guess I just don't know how to deal with that. And when I was younger in the demo scene, I didn't deal with that very well. I'm thinking about my Caladox days in particular, where I really wanted to be part of something. I was not allowed to be part of something. I wanted other people to be part of what I'm doing, and they weren't interested in what I'm doing. I was like, what the fuck? And then it didn't work. And then when I joined the Palm, it was a lot more okay. I don't care. I just do my thing. I throw it out there somewhere. Someone might pick it up. No one ever really picked it up. Whenever I threw something out there, I stopped throwing stuff out there. In that sense, I still keep in touch with Feather. That's pretty much the only contact I still have with the Palm people in terms of creative things. But it's more he does his demo and I give him inputs, and I do my demo and he sometimes gives me input. It's not really a collaboration of some sort. So yeah, I've always been a lone wolf in that regard. And when it's stuff done for fun, it's a lot easier to collaborate because you don't really have much time, and you just throw some stuff in there and whatever works, and I don't care. And we just have fun. When it's one for more serious kind of work, it's hard to find the right person with the right vision to collaborate with. Anyways, this is not creative writing anymore. I do want to involve more creative writing in the demo scene though, eventually at some point, and with the music thing. And this is where also the hip-hop thing came to mind, because hip-hop is telling a story and trying to tell a story in a honest way that can be understood and felt and resonated with. And I spent so much time of my life trying to do the abstract, and I know why I was going that way now, because I was depressed and suicidal, and I didn't want to express that explicitly, mostly because I didn't understand myself a lot of what I was going through, and also because I didn't want to say those kind of things to people. So I kept it abstract and experimental, and something that resonates the pain that I can't really express through words, sort of thing, which people still didn't get because people don't enjoy pain. Go figure. So yeah, but it was a process that helped me learn a bit more about people and what people really understand, and how context is important when you're doing something. Those two bullshit paragraphs on art, they are usually bullshit to contextualize stuff, actually have a layer of reasonable meaning and reason of being behind them. They're just used in a very, on most art exhibitions, they're used in a very non-contextualizing way. It just sort of tells you the vision of the person, doesn't really explain why, which for me is more important in an art piece. Still fail from that though on the few interactive installations that I did. I also don't think I was completely on point with that, and maybe in the future, if I ever do interactive installations again, I'll try to be more on point with that. But yeah, just to say that I'm usually against those kind of, or I was against that. I used to think that the art should speak for itself. When you are watching or experiencing an art piece, you should feel it, and the feeling should convey the context itself. I have second guesses now. I think that the context will help a lot get you directly into the mood. If you go to a concert expecting pop, or if you go to a concert expecting noise, you have a different expectation of the thing. And if you go there not knowing what to expect, it's also harder to manipulate you, shape you into the direction that you want to go to convey your message. So it's easier if you set out the proper expectation, so that people immediately can recognize if that's something they want to get into, or if that's not something they want to get into. Anyways, half an hour video, I think that's long enough. Sorry for the long video. Hope it's been an interesting chat for you. For me, it's interesting to do these videos. It helps me organize my thoughts as well. Most of the things are the things that I already thought about before, but it's good to verbalize them and commit to them sometimes as well. And yeah, I try to figure out where things go from here as well. So yeah, gonna take a few days to try to figure out what I want to do next. Meanwhile, I'm organizing a few other events for the demo scene. There's a huge Shader Royale jam session on 26th of June. Already have like 20 people signed up for that, so it's gonna be massive. Hope the Packet Loss gods are on my side. And I have a release for enough records that I need to push out from Curtains in the Corner, which is the project from Visualice. If you know the demo scene, He does music for quite a few years, and I convinced him to release something on Enough Records. So I'm really happy with that release. It's going to be coming out this Monday, 14th of June. And other stuff that I have to figure out, the repair cafe thing, that it still doesn't work. Don't know what to do about that. If I should just give up and put it somewhere else. It's still here looking at me. It's right here. And there's a repair cafe session coming up at a local makerspace thing or organized by them, and I don't know if I should bother investing a whole night of my being into that, or if I just give up, because I have a feeling that I'm going to go there with this and I'm going to end up helping other people instead of getting this fixed, and I will come back home without this fixed, which would usually be okay on the more socially spiritual person, but I'm not feeling very giving right now. I'm feeling like I have a lot of shit that I need to take care of, and I'm not really being able to take care of my stuff, so I need to focus on my stuff first. And then when you have your own shit figured out, then you can try to help other people. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the long video. See you next video. Bye bye everyone. Take care. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you want to support me in any shape or form, please check out patreon.com/psenough. I have all my stuff there, and you can also, ask questions and, get in indirect touch, which you can also do on YouTube, but I don't know, at least on Patreon, you support me directly, not just with the view. Anyways, see you next video. Bye bye everyone. Take care.